Hutchins. It has been weakening a little bit. The warning itself is until 8:15. It's currently 7:36. And the warning is for hail close to 2 inch, 1 inch and 3/4 or 2 inch size hail. I'm going to move it back over to Ville. I'll take off the lightning in that bright color there. That is the largest hailstones, and that's egg size. So that's 2 inch size hail mixed in with 1.5 inch size hail. That is big enough to damage a roof. And it is right over Johnson Station right now in Southland Acres and Pentago and Dalworthington Gardens. That's where it is right now. You know, where Farm to Market 157 crosses I-20. It's right over there. So that I'm showing you here in the bright pinks because we think that's where the largest hail is right now. Now this is the only real storm going on, the dangerous storm going on across the Metroplex. There is a watch just south of the Metroplex at 10 p.m., but as I zoom out, you can see now they've issued more warnings off these hail cores that are now getting ready to go into Parker County, coming out of Palo Pinto County. These were just storms that were rolling around, and now here just in the last, 30 minutes, not even that, 15 minutes, they have started to produce large hail. Now, this warning goes on till 8:30 for Parker County. There's a couple of the cells are right now over Palo Pinto, just now going into Parker County. But this warning goes on to 8:30. It's going to also cross I-20, but I-20 here at Parker County. So this is Brock Junction and Brock and over by the Brazos and over the Brazos River, right where it crosses I-20, if you know where that is. I think there's a good chance it kind of gets real close to the southern part of Weatherford, the city, and moves right over Bethel and Annetta. So I need all you people to be prepared for a hailstorm that's going to move over you. Now this one doesn't appear to have the same footprint size of the one in Tarrant County, but it's also producing egg-size hail. That will damage your car. In fact, when you start getting to 2 inch size hail or bigger, it will knock out your windshield or at least break it. This is going to go right over I-20, so traffic, any car traffic is going to run into this hailstorm. This is the one in Parker County, and that's the warning. I talked about that one for a while, but look how much bigger this hail core is. This is the one in southern Tarrant County, right at the Dallas County line. This warning in Tarrant and Dallas goes to 8:15, but it's getting ready to move into Dallas County. Let's get a little bit closer to this one as well. It is right over, the hail core has literally been traveling right down the interstate, and it is right now over on the East Barden Road that runs parallel to the interstate there. This is the Southland Acres area. If you're familiar with this area, the Center Street goes in there, and then you've got 360, the big intersection there. That's where 360 comes into 20. I know you're probably, if you live in this anywhere close to this area, you've probably driven through that intersection, right where 360 goes 20. That's where the hail core is now. That's where it's closing, or it's probably at this point. And then it's right over, in moments, right over the turnpike that starts there and heads north. This is right along I-20 in southern Tarrant County, and we're getting over the county line into Dallas County. So Redbird, Ledbetter, Cole, Kenwood, and sooner than that, Lakeview, you have this hailstorm moving over you. Again, this storm has produced size up to 2 inches. And if we can go ahead and take that full again, Dennis, I need to go see what's going on in the chat as we are dealing with this storm. This is a couple of warnings that are out. Go ahead and take it full, Dennis, so I can get off camera. This is the watch box. I'll zoom out a little further. You can see the watch box is all the way down to the south, but the warnings are on the northern edge of this watch box. Let's show you some of this hail. Like I said, we're getting all sorts of reports of hail. This is in Crowley, quarter-size hail. And you can see it just coming down. It gets so loud when it hits your roof like that, doesn't it? But that is just some of the smaller reports that we're getting. And we were getting reports of 1.5 inch, 2 inch size hail in this exact same area. So we continue to be watching this. The hail core is not quite as intense as it was just a few minutes ago. Yeah, my computer is not going to, my other one is not going to catch up. So anyway, let's get back over to Viper. I just wanted to give you an update on what was the latest in chat, and I'm just going to bring my computer over there since it's not my other system not working too well. But you can see that hail core in those bright colors. That is just doing all sorts of damage. You know what the average roof life is in this area, in the Metroplex? Your roof should last you about 7 years, because about every 7 years, you're going to get stuck under a storm like this, and it's going to damage your roof and you'll have to replace it. If it's 2-inch size hail, you certainly will. I am continuing to watch the latest reports, and there is a report of hail 2.5 inches in size in Dalworthington Garden. This was at 7:33. This was just about 12 minutes ago. So again, it was coming out of this storm that it was moving right out of 20. And you can see that there it is. There's Dalworthington Gardens and reports of 2-inch size hail there, actually 2.5 inch size hail. That's the damage I was telling you about. That's what it would do. It will damage a roof. You would have to get your roof replaced if that fell on your house. That's large hail. That's happened to me twice, and I've lived here for 15 years. So what did I tell you? Every 7 years. That is the warning till 8:15. I'm going to put a track on this hail core that is doing all this damage. It's in South Arlington all the way down to Southwind, crossing 360. It's moving at about 25 miles an hour. So there is some arrival times. That would put it in Florence Hill at 7:45, the Enclave at Westchester 7:45, and the Grand Courtyards there as well. This is hail that is doing damage, and just give you some of the bigger cities that are kind of in the path. That's Duncanville by 8 o'clock and Cockrell Hill area by 8:04. Please try to protect your property as this moves in. It is still producing some very large hail, it looks like. I'll zoom out a little bit further, and you can see coming right behind that seems to be another hail core that is now moving into Parker County, and there's a good chance we might be seeing 2-inch size hail out of that one as well. So this is turned in, as the Storm Prediction Center was warning about large hail. That certainly has happened, but it has been happening just outside and just to the north of parts of the watch box that you see in pink here, because they did not have the Metroplex under this watch box, but indeed we're getting severe hail. There's the other hail core that is moving over Parker County along I-20. It is closing in on Brock Junction in the town of Brock. It is probably going to hit Weatherford, or at least the southern half of Weatherford, and all the area that is along I-20 in Weatherford. That hail core is moving off to the east at 25 miles an hour. This is a warned storm because of this hail core. There could be some winds in that 60-65 mile per hour range underneath this, but this storm will be in Brock Junction in just a few minutes, 7:48. Maxwell Crossing 7:51, and Powell Crossing at 7:55, and Bethel by 8:06, Harmony 8:10 if it continues on this path. And eventually, like I said, it's going to get over southern parts of the town of Weatherford, move over 20. We'll see if it can hold together all the way into Tarrant County, and that would be a second round of large hail. These storms are certainly producing golf ball size hail. We're getting reports of hail that's even larger than that. This threat's going to continue for a while. One of the reasons is we did get into the 80s today, and we had a lot of humidity. It's the first day of June, first day of summer, and we're still getting our spring storm season. If You've been watching, we've been talking about this, that even a week ago, as we looked long range into the month of June, we were seeing a very active June, at least the first half, and that storm spring season would go into June. No surprise. May has our highest number of thunderstorms per month. That's the month of May. That's our stormiest month. You know what's second? It's not April, because that April-May window is when we get our most tornadoes, but April is third. You know what's number two? June. We get a lot of storms in June, and mostly the first half of June, because we're waiting for the jet stream to migrate up towards the north, and this trough that gets stuck over the southwest to finally kick out. We'll get into the doldrums, and no one likes that kind of heat, but what it does, it keeps this from happening, these storms that can produce really large hail. Right now, the hail core that I'm watching is the one that's at right at I-20 here and 360. It is stretched all the way up into Arlington and Division Street and down the south. We did not intend to take so much of program, but when we have 2-inch size hail, I have to stay on the air, and I apologize if you were watching the show. So what we did is, our sister station is TXA 21. We put prime time over there, so you can watch. If you live outside of this area, you don't need this coverage. The prime time programming is now on 21, because I will stay on air as long as there is hail this large inside the Metroplex, because this is hail that can do damage, will do damage. And if you are in the path and this is coming towards you, I need to let you know there's a chance you might be able to save your car windshield if it's coming towards you. So let's put a track on this hail core that is now in South Arlington, right at 360, stretching down across I-20 and south of there. This is a large hail core. And we've had reports of 2-inch size hail with this. It's been moving at about 25 miles per hour, and it's getting ready to go into Dallas County. There's a thunderstorm warning out for Dallas County to 8:15. This will go on for a while. There's some arrival times. It's 7:48 right now, and the next 3 or 4 minutes you see in Westchester Meadows, south and north in the Grand Courtyard. So there's a lot of subdivisions there. What I can do is I can narrow that list to some of the larger cities, so the list suddenly gets smaller, but now we're talking about Duncanville at 8:07 and Cockrell Hill by 8:12, and that is all, of course, in Dallas County. But this will pass to the south of downtown Dallas, but move right down I-20. It's going to cross 35E. It's probably going to cross 45 as well. So there's a lot of not only suburbs, but a lot of businesses and certainly a lot of car traffic. I mean, we're kind of at the tail end of your weekend. We kind of get that rise in car traffic as we close our Sunday and get into Sunday evening, people winding down from whatever festivities they might have been, or relatives or friends, and car traffic picks up. Man, if you're driving across South Dallas, Southern Tarrant counties, just don't move, don't leave. Wait until the storm passes, because this is a storm that will knock out your windshield. This has been 2-inch size hail, and we're just getting more reports of hen size egg hail. There's the latest in Parker. So that's a hail core that's coming in behind this one, now producing 2-inch size hail. This is damaging hail. We've been really lucky the last couple of weeks right inside the Metroplex. The big stones have been all around the Metroplex over the last 2 weeks, and now this one is right in. And of course, and it's on a day when we were expecting all this activity, honestly, to be south. That's where the watch is. There's a thunderstorm watch down to the south, picking up in Johnson and in Ellis counties till 10 p.m. But the hail core, the warnings have been north of that watch, and that's 2-inch size hail. I'll zoom in, kind of give you an idea of some of the areas. You know, where 303 crosses 360. This is southern Arlington, so East Division Street that goes into Dalworth Street and by the George Bush Turnpike. That you're ready to see that hail core move right over the turnpike. If you live on either side of it, you have this. It's moving, if you're anywhere near Pioneer Parkway, that is exactly where the hail core is. If you know the town of Florence Hill, it's right over you. So Farm Market Road 1382, it's moving kind of between 303 and it's come off of I-20 a little bit, but it's now between I-20 and I-30. It's crossed over I-20 actually towards Joe Pool Lake. I hope everybody had a chance to clear the lake there at the park near the dam because you're probably getting some quarter-size hail there. Sometimes the really big stones, you know, they can start flying everywhere coming out of the hail core, and they can land quite a ways from where the highest reflectivity is. But this is headed right into Ledbetter, Cole, Kenwood, Redbird, into Duncanville. Okay, it's coming directly from the west. There's a lot of lightning, so you're hearing it approach from the thunder, but it's, you know where the turnpike is, the George Bush, it's over there right now, and it's coming in from the west, from the turnpike and heading across southern Dallas County, and it's producing hail that's close to 2 inches in size, and some reports even larger than that. And that isn't the only warning going on. So this is the warning for Dallas County till 8:15, and if I move over, you can see, look at there. There's another huge hail core with reports of hail 2 inches in size that is moving down I-20 as well, but in Parker County. It's also moving off to the east, and I'll put it in motion. What have I got, the last 30 minutes? You can see it moving over Brock Junction and Millsap, and it was towards Millsap where they were getting reports of hail that was 2 inches in size. So they've taken Hood County out of the equation here from the warning, because it looks like this one is going to stay in Parker County and move right over southern parts of Parker County. That is some really high reflectivity. That is almost certainly monster size hail. Oh my, that's incredible. So what I look for, these really bright colors, is high reflectivity, because the beam, when it hits ice, it can really spike the return. More of the return gets to the antenna that's listening to the beam, to the pulse it just sent out. 55 is the threshold for large hail. All right, 55. This is 67. So this is a sign that this is extremely large hail. We'll move over to the algorithm that takes a couple of things into factor, and it runs a little behind. So where you're seeing it, it's actually a little bit now off to the east of there, but it's saying walnut size. Let's see what the next scan does, because it looks like the storm has intensified in Parker County. Again, this is a hailstorm that is doing damage. It is moving into Weatherford. It's probably going to rake right across southern, downtown and southern part of Weatherford, certainly everything along I-20 on both sides, and continue into Annetta and Aledo. And this will, maybe if it holds together, get into southern Tarrant County, which has already suffered a really big hailstorm that started around 35 W in southern Tarrant County, right around there. This really inch-size plus hail started to fall, and it's been doing that ever since now, as it's gone into now Dallas County, and that's that bright pink that you see. So Florence Hill, Castle Ridge, Lakeview. Remember what I said, this is an algorithm product, which means there's some calculation going on. That's why it tends to be about 2 to 3 minutes behind the latest radar report. So if I switch it over to radar, you see it's matching up in this moment pretty well, because the latest radar shows the highest reflectivity is right over Florence Hill, right over 20 up Carrier Parkway. That's where homes are likely being damaged, because this high reflectivity, this 63 dBz, that is where the largest hail is likely. Of course, that's where it is off the ground. As hail falls, it gets, the wind that's swirling around the storm starts to carry it. If you've been in these really big hailstorms, you know what I'm talking about. The hail doesn't come straight down when it's big. It seems like it's coming sideways from different directions. That's because up above you, the wind is just swirling around these large stones, and they're just falling, you know, wherever. So they don't have any rhyme or reason. Now you can see the highest reflectivity. The largest stones here are Camp Wisdom Road. That's Farm Market 1382. I forget what they call it, but it crosses. There's an intersection there at 20, and that's Beltline. Beltline, sorry. So this is at Beltline Road on I-20. That exit, major exit. All sorts of businesses up and down there, and some warehouses as well. And they're getting this destructive hail that's moving. There have been lately, the reports have been a more inch and a quarter. So hopefully the hail size has come down a little bit, but it is headed towards Redbird and Duncanville and Ledbetter Hills and Cole. It is headed down 20, and that's this 303 spur, the 408 spur, excuse me, right at that intersection where this hail core is going to move over. And let's assume right now it's inch and a quarter size hail. It had been 2-inch size hail. And we hope we don't get any more reports of 2-inch size hail. But still, 1.5 inches will do a lot of damage. I can look at velocity to see if I'm seeing any real big winds. Sometimes get kicked out from the storm. Another way to look at that is shear. See if there's any shear markers. You know, because part of the warning was for 65-mile-per-hour winds, and at least we haven't been seeing much of that. What we've been seeing is hail. This is the hail path, and I'm going to zoom out so you can get a sense of what's happening here. Later on, when you talk to your insurance adjusters, if you've been in the path of this, do you see out in Parker County how quick the hail core went up? And suddenly, as it got along I-20 in Parker County, it was just massive there, right over the Brazos River. So that's what's headed into Weatherford. Now look at the one over by Everman. You know, it started around Benbrook, and it's been marching to the east across southern Tarrant County and now in Dallas County. They've dropped Tarrant County from the warning, by the way. The warning now is just for Dallas County till 8:15 because the hail core is left. Let me show you that, because I can move over to just the latest algorithm scan, and that's the hail core that you're looking at. This is the storm itself, but this is the hail core that's inside that storm, and that is our biggest concern. We have been, the National Weather Service has been flooded with reports of large hail. Ever since this thing was over by Edgecliff, over by Forest Hill in the Everman-Kennendale area, that's kind of where the really big hail started, right there at 35W and 820 or 20, right where it splits to go 820 to the north, and 287 crosses, that intersection right there. That's when we started getting a lot of reports of large hail, and that was hail 2 inches in size. It's continued down I-20. So if you're in neighborhoods between Arlington, especially the south part of Arlington, all the way down towards Joe Pool Lake, I'm sorry to say your roof just took a big hit from hail. Right now, the hail core seems to be more centered on Camp Wisdom. The better indication is to look at high reflectivity, and that is Floriano Road, if I'm saying that correctly. This is near Lakeview, and that's the 408 spur. And I have to occasionally move in and check in the latest from the Weather Center office that captures all this to see what the latest reports were. We have gotten reports of hail over 2 inches. We have gotten reports of hail tennis ball size earlier, but lately most of the reports coming in here are mostly 1-inch size hail, maybe a little bit bigger, 1.5 inches in some instances. So this is damaging hail. And I can't tell you how many reports have come in. There's literally probably 100 that have come in. Another way we can keep track, because the National Weather Service, while covering this, will issue an official storm report of large hail, and let's see if we can get any to come up here. The hail reports are, let me see, the last 24 hours. I don't need that many. Sorry, I'm doing this on the fly. Make sure that I have hail reported. There it is. Sorry about that. There we go. Look at all the reports. I was telling you, reports were flooding in there for a while. They issued the warning for southern Tarrant County. We went on the stream, and now that we're on CBS 11. By the way, if you're not affected by the storm, you can still see CBS programming. It is on 21. We do this when we get into dangerous weather situations like we're in right now, where we have damaging hail moving across the Metroplex. We will move programming to TXA 21. That's our sister station. And we will keep the programming there the rest of the night until this is over with. And I'm going to stay on air on 2011 as long as we have reports of hail doing damage. This is the type that will knock out windshields of your car. This is the type of hail that will cause you to lose your roof. In other words, you'll have to get an insurance claim on your roof and get it replaced, because this is the type of storm that does the damage that will retire a roof. Like I said, roofs around here only last an average of 7 years. The biggest hail right now, East Pioneer Parkway and State Spur Road 408 area. This is Ledbetter Hills. This is Cole. This is Redbird. This is on Dallas County, southern Dallas County. This is south of downtown Dallas. This is not quite in Oak Cliff yet, not quite in Cockrell Hill and Arcadia Park. All those areas, you will probably just get smaller hail and some heavy rain and a lot of lightning. The largest hail will pass across Westward Park. It's going to go right over 35 in south downtown, South Dallas, right where State Loop 12 is. It's basically the biggest hail is be around Loop 12 and moving off to the east. Let me give you a track on this so I can give you a little heads up. I'm going to do this storm, and then next we'll do Parker County. So stick with me if you're in Parker County watching this. These storms have been moving at about 25 miles an hour, and just looking at the latest tracking, that I'm going to keep with that. So that puts it in Westwood Park at 8:07 and 5 minutes. It's 8:03 right now. Fruitdale 8:24 and Hutchins 8:29. The hail core is right here over by Ledbetter Hills. Okay, it's moving into Redbird, and unfortunately, it's still very large hail. We continue to get reports of 1.5 inch size hail. All right, as promised, let me leave this storm and go over, those are all the reports that have been going on. Let's go over into Parker County, because you see all the reports in Parker County of this hail that's going on. The warning in Parker County is until 8:30, and some of the reports of hail just there along county line were very impressive, but it looks like the hail core has migrated a little bit to the north. So not only had they start moving east, the cores, the storms themselves, at least this one in Parker County, is now expanding a little further to the north. So the largest hail, a golf ball size hail around Brock Junction, Preble and Cool. This is, we're getting ground reports of 1.5 inch size hail in Parker County. So by the way, the good news, Dallas County, we'll go back there in a second. The latest from the National Weather Service is the storm is starting to weaken. Yay. This one in Parker County continues to trudge along. Let me just show you what's its path has been the last 30 minutes to give you an idea. So you know where I-20 is? In Parker County, when you cross Tarrant County line heading west, you actually pass just to the south of the town of Weatherford. And that's basically where the hail core is, right over the interstate. So cars are going to run at highway speeds into hail that's 1.5 inch size. That will put a hole in your windshield when that happens. This hail is headed right towards Weatherford. So you have a few moments here now to protect your property the best you can, to protect your house or your cars. It's moving at about 25 miles per hour. So that puts it in Weatherford at 8:26. Right now it's 8:05. You literally have about 20 minutes to try to protect your car at least, get some stuff that's outside that maybe could get damaged by hail, get that inside, and then get yourself inside, because you're not going to want to be outside when this hail comes through. This is over by Brock Junction headed into Weatherford. This warning goes to 8:30. There's really only 2 storms we're talking about. The other one is in Dallas County, and as I just told you, the good news from the National Weather Service that monitor this is that you see how those bright colors, look how bright it was, how bright that purple, that was 2-inch size hail. Now the colors are starting to darken a little bit. This warning only in Dallas County now goes until 8:15. This hail core, I can show you the path of it. And what you want to do is look at the brightest colors, these near blacks. That's the really large hail. See how it was going on by Kennedale, marching right down 20, really big over Florence Hill. And now the latest couple of scans show hail maybe only an inch. That still does damage. That will still be damaging hail. But it's come down. Here's the latest scan. Oh, that is great news. Nickel and penny size. If it does that for one more scan, we'll go back to programming, okay? But let's watch this because it's moving over still highly populated areas this morning till 8:15. And the hail core, another way we can look, remember, that's an algorithm. It processes it. It's just a step behind. We can look at high reflectivity. I'm not seeing the pinks as much. That's another good sign. I'll zoom out a little bit, and let's look at the last 30 minutes. Do you see the bright reds? They were bright pinks, and that's just really large hail when you get reflectivity that high. And that moved right over 360 and the 303 spur, and it is moved over 12, and now it's over Duncanville, River Oaks, but the hail size has come down. Yes, let's go over into Parker County. I'm telling you, I'm not so concerned about that storm that's in southern Dallas County. There's a lot of lightning. Be inside. There's some very heavy rain going on with that. I can tell you that just looking at 3-hour rainfall, we have seen some impressive rain that has moved over from Parker across southern Tarrant and now getting into Duncanville. So you can expect some street flooding with that. It's a very heavy rain, a blinding rain. You don't want to be driving through that. There's probably at least 40-mile-per-hour winds. Let's see if we got the latest on the Dallas warning here. My computer's also having trouble keeping up with the warnings, but they're going to allow it to expire. That's the latest. So it's going to expire in 7 minutes. By the time the hail core got to you in Cole, Ledbetter Hills, and Redbird, I know I was calling out your name. When the hail was 2 inches in size, I was trying to give you as much heads up. I want to let you know the storm that comes overhead is going to have smaller hail. It's probably going to be closer to quarter size or smaller, and likely smaller. So I have nothing but good news for you there. I'm going to zoom out and let's talk about the bigger hail core going on right now. See all that lightning? That's the ice churning around in the storm, producing the lightning. And we are seeing some very heavy rain. How does it look like in reflectivity? Very high reflectivities. This is along I-20. You know where Old Brock Road is and the Ranger Highway that runs parallel and then crosses it and then kind of runs along parallel. Ranger Highway does. It's also Spur 112, 3112. That is right where this hail core is. That's the town up into Fox. So this is the east, just west of Weatherford, okay? West of Weatherford and headed into town. It looks like now we're going to have it get into downtown. I was hoping that it would pass to the south, but in Millsap, they were reporting 2-inch size hail. So looking at reflectivity, I think that hail is close to 2 inches in size. And it is right now, if you live in Weatherford, let's say, think about yourself in relationship to downtown Weatherford, that hail core is about 6 miles away and closing. You have a few minutes. Please try to protect your property. This is going to be hail that's going to do some damage. I'll change over to those purples. Let's sample this. This is higher up in the atmosphere, but they're seeing golf ball size, ping pong size hail. And we just got a report of hail that's 2 inches in size. And Okay, and you can see that is going to hit Weatherford. All right, this is what I told you I would do. If the hail core in Dallas started to come down, I would come off CBS 11, and we'll go back to programming, okay? If you live in Parker County, I need you to go over to Stream, and that's the CBS News app. You find the Dallas, the Texas station, and you'll see this, what you're seeing right now, except it's going to be on the Stream. I'll keep you safe. You go over to the Stream. If you live in Parker County, if you live anywhere near Weatherford, and I will keep you abreast of this damaging hailstorm, 2-inch size hail that's coming in from your west with a lot of lightning. If you live in Dallas County, don't worry so much. The storm that's over you right now, over by Cedar Hill, it is starting to weaken and become non-severe, and soon that warning is going to be dropped. So thank you for letting me cover program. We don't like to do this, especially at long periods of time, but we are going to do it if we see property being destroyed or the threat of that happening in the Metroplex. We will step on and we will stay on, because our number one priority is to keep you safe. We will go back to programming now. Again, join me on the Stream if you're in Parker County. I will be with you over there in just a minute, and we'll talk more about that storm there. Let's get back to programming. All right, so thank you guys. We're on the Stream. And as I promised you, if you lived in Parker County, I would stay with this. This is the hail core. It is just now on the west side of town. We got reports of Millsap of 2-inch size hail, indication of golf ball size, ping pong size hail, with reports of 2-inch size. This is headed into Weatherford. I can show you the hail path of this. It really kicked up when it was crossing the Brazos River over by New Salem and between New Salem and Bennett. That's when all of a sudden this hail core just matured very quickly. There was a spike in lightning, and the ice was churning, and suddenly large hail started to fall. And it's still falling. It's over by Brock Junction. It's just got over Millsap. It's starting to move into Greenwood. The latest hail report, this is where it is, where Ranger Highway comes in from the northeast right into 20. This is on the west side of Weatherford, just down from where the exit to Weatherford is on 20, just to the west. That's where the hail core is right now. It's coming up I-20. If you know anyone who was going to leave around this time and headed 20, headed west, call them and tell them pull aside, try to find an awning, try to do something. They don't want to be in this hailstorm on the interstate, crossing it. And it's coming in directly from the west down Greenwood Road. That's where the hail is. This shows me it's the smaller hail, but let me tell you, this is looking above the storm, and the really large stones that can fall from a storm like this can literally fall anywhere where you see that pink, and even a little outside of it, and they'll fall from any direction if you've been in a hailstorm like that. Let's change it over to reflectivity, because reflectivity is a real good indication of where the biggest hailstones are, and that's where they are, right there, between Bethel and the interstate, and they run up all the way to Fox. But literally right over I-20, there's probably some 2-inch size hail. I'm just judging by the reflectivity, because our threshold is 55 dB, and that's 65. So that's just an indication of really large hail. There's some things that can throw the radar off in its estimate, but since we're getting reports of 2-inch size hail, I think it's correct. And we'll query some of the latest around the Fox area, 2-inch size hail, 2-inch size hail. Around Bethel, 2-inch size hail, 2-inch size hail. That's moving into Weatherford. You have a few minutes here. Over in Willow Park, Annetta North, Aledo, you probably have about 10 minutes to do whatever you can to save your car, whatever you can to save parts of your property, that your backyard that can get damaged by hail. Do it now. You're hearing it. You're hearing it. There's a lot of lightning, which is very typical around a hail core. Remember, lightning is caused by the circulation of ice. Where there's large hail, there's a lot of lightning, and you can see it. By the way, I don't explain this very often, but do you see the two colors in the lightning strikes? You got one that's yellow and one that's white. White are negative strikes, and that's typically what you get. But when you get a storm really ramping up, really getting some punch to it and going severe especially, you'll see a lot of the yellow strikes. Those are positive strikes. These are all ground strikes, by the way. They don't count the lightning that is just up in the cloud. These are only the strikes that hit the ground. And as far as that, how many? That would be 260 just in the last 15 minutes. So tremendous amount of lightning. But the yellow is a positive strike. That is just a higher voltage. Research is still on why this happens, but we know what it means. It means the storm is usually very mature, that the hail core is up really high, and there's a lot of ice circulating. The funny thing is it can be small ice too that will do this, but it's usually because it's a strong updraft, therefore big hail is coming out of that. So that's why you have two colors of lightning. The yellow is worse than the white, believe it or not. We actually get more fire start from positive strikes. And the reason for that is that they're just literally hotter. They go on about a millisecond longer and start fire. So they're getting reports now in Weatherford on the west side of town, golf ball size hail. It's falling and the rate is increasing. 2-inch size hail, we need to let you know, could be in the storm. 2-inch size hail does a lot of damage. If you've lived here more than 5 years, you've probably seen it in your neighborhood by now, because we get large hail. We're one of the leading, the Metroplex is one of the leading areas in hail damage every year. And it is because of storms like this. And this one is moving right into Weatherford. I know you can't do much to protect your roof, but you can protect your cars and your people. Now we're getting reports 1 mile west of Weatherford of hail just under 2 inches in size. When you start getting over an inch, you start talking about damage. When you get to 1.5 inches, damage. When you get close to 2 inches, destruction. All right. So that's what we're dealing with this hail core. It's moving into Weatherford right now. I need you to get the kids inside, get everybody inside, get the pets inside, try to get the cars in the garage. The worst of the hail, it's just coming in on the west side of town. The bigger hail is still 2 to 3 miles away, at least the core, though spitting out from that storm could be hail that size already. This whole hail core, to me, it seems like it's slowed down a little bit. I'll continue to track it at 25. Let me track it just a little short of that. As it's headed towards Annetta North and Aledo, that's in Center Point 832, time check 819. It's in Weatherford now. It's on the west side of town. It'll be in Hudson Oaks 836, Annetta North and Annetta 838. South 840, Willow Park 846. There's been a lot of construction, a lot of new homes, a lot of nice homes in that area. And you have this storm that is closing in on you, has been producing 2-inch size hail, and you need to find shelter. I'm going to go down to the street level now that it's almost in downtown Weatherford. Man, I am so sorry how this thing has moved north. When we were tracking it at the Palo Pinto County line, this thing was moving due east and was south of Weatherford, and then this storm just grew north. How unpredictable these hail cores can be. So that put it right over Weatherford. I was hoping it would pass to the south of Weatherford, maybe over I-20 in Weatherford. Now it's going over downtown Weatherford, and it's going to go even a little on the north side of town. So here we are down Greenwood Road, the spur, 312 Ranger Highway that comes in town. Basically, it's getting eaten up by large hail coming up from the west. And again, a lot of lightning with this, so you're hearing this storm approach. If you're under it now, you're going to be under it for about 5 minutes. The storm is moving about 25 miles an hour. Let me clear this. So I'll put it in motion again. Let me take off the lightning because that gets a little distracting. There is the hail core. We're getting in Millsap 2-inch size hail at that point over to Brock Junction. It's been moving right up 20 and now right into downtown Weatherford. So What are the latest reports? Oh, no, no. Parker, 5 miles west of Weatherford, measured 3-inch size hail. That's teacup size hail. Guys, get inside. We just got a report just outside of town in Weatherford that the hail was 3 inches in diameter, the size of a teacup. That can literally punch a hole in a roof. And that is closing in. Now it's over Weatherford. It's over Weatherford now. It's over I-20 in Weatherford. It's down State Highway 171. It's down in Bethel. It's been over Greenwood now for a few minutes. I know you're just getting clobbered there. Fox, good news. In Preble, it's left. There might be still some rain going on, but the damaging hail has left. It's off to the east of you, but it's headed right into Hudson Oaks, Center Point, Wampler, Willow Park, all of Annetta, north and south, Aledo. It's going to go over Farmer Road. It's going to get into Dicey. All this hail headed your way that's right over Weatherford. And again, we just got a report. I'm going to read that again. 5 miles west of Weatherford, teacup size hail. That's in the town of Parker. So I was telling you it was coming in from the west. That's the hail core. Man, I am the bearer of bad news. I apologize to have to tell you this, but that is damaging hail. Both sides of Mineral Wells Highway, up into the Rick Williams, the Morrow Highway up there to the north of town. It runs up there. It goes south across Greenwood Road. It goes all the way to the interstate, to I-20. And it looks like it's maybe over the interstate where the really big hail is. This is the latest reflectivity. And I'll circle it, but we were worried about 2-inch size hail. Now we're getting reports of 3-inch size hail. Hey, Nate, if you give me a chance, can you bring me some water? Just a little water. Yeah, thank you. You can see that the large hail by the reflectivity. This is stunningly large, a high reflectivity, 67 dBz. Remember I was telling you earlier the threshold of large hail is 55, and this is 67, and we've been seeing this for the last hour. Just to check in real quick, that's what's left of the storm in Dallas County, and they finally moved the watch north, and so now the watch is the thunderstorm watch till 10 p.m. does include Tarrant and Dallas County after the hailstorm moved through. But that storm has weakened. Let me show you the last 30 minutes. And it's going to go into DeSoto and Wilmer. Well, it's over DeSoto now. It's going to go into Wilmer just with some lightning and some heavy rain, okay? All the hail has come down in size. They'll check Ville velocity, yeah. And that continues to trend that way, and they allowed the warning to drop. Of my bigger concern, the concern of the moment, is this horrific hailstorm that is over Weatherford, right over town. And I imagine we're going to get a lot of reports coming in soon. Well, we have been getting a lot of reports. At Weatherford High School, 2-inch size hail at the high school. So this is damaging hail. Thanks, Nate. This is damaging hail that is in Weatherford, in Greenwood. It's headed into Hudson Oaks in Wampler. Try to protect your property. This is really, really damaging hail, and a lot of it. This is a big hail core. We can continue to get all these reports coming in of the size of this hail. They're going to issue a warning downstream for Tarrant County for this hail core. And this warning, of course, will go into Tarrant County. There it is. I'll zoom it out. Just came out. So in Tarrant County, the warning goes to 9:30. It's 8:25. It's over Weatherford right now. In case you were wondering, if you live in South Tarrant County or Central Tarrant County, sorry, the last one was in South Tarrant County. This hail core will go right over 30, it looks like, if it holds together. If you're wondering about the county line, it is right there, and from Weatherford, it's 15 miles, and this thing is moving about 25 miles an hour. Let me check that. When they issue warnings, they give you the latest tracking, Now, they just issued this warning for hail 2 3/4 of an inch. So as far as all the warnings they have issued this afternoon and now early evening, of all the warnings, this one has the largest hail warned for at 2.5. How is it moving? It is moving east. It's slowed down. It's at 20. Remember I was telling you earlier, I think it's slowed down. It's slowed down. That's not unusual when a storm gets ramped up. The updraft really gets going. Sometimes they'll slow down. They usually turn a little bit to the right. This one was turning a little bit to the left, to the north. But that's the latest warning. You see there's the old one, old warning to 8:30. Here's the new one that now includes Tarrant County, and that's till 9:30. So it's still Parker County, but it goes into Tarrant County. Now at east at 20 miles an hour. Let's track it. It's hard to keep track of all the information that's coming in at this moment. So if we track it, that's in Willow Park by 8:47, in 20 minutes. That's in Annetta North by 8:42. Aledo, 8:55. I'm sorry, I was kind of up and down on there, but I'm just trying to throw out some names, get your attention, let you know that this hail core is going to be over your house. Protect your car. You can't protect your roof. But this has been reports of 3-inch size hail and a lot of reports of 2-inch size hail. That's right over Weatherford and Bethel, getting ready to go into Center Point and Wampler and Willow Park, Annetta North, Annetta, you're next, so is Dicey. So if you live anywhere of those towns, or if you live in Aledo, you have a chance here. As you know, the way Parker County has developed over the last 10 years especially, it was the corridor, I-20 was the spur of the development, and it has been mostly, initially it was south. I'm not telling you any history you don't already know, but I'm just pointing out to other viewers, I'm circling this area. That has had a tremendous amount of development over the last 10 years. I moved here 15 years ago, and this wasn't hardly anything other than fields and a few farms, and now it's just roof-to-roof suburbs. Not all of it, but a lot of it. So in some instances, this might be the first really big hailstorm in your neighborhood that you've had, since some of these are new neighborhoods. Some of these neighborhoods have only been in for a year, and this might be the first really big one. I'm still seeing a lot of intense colors here, the bright colors, which tell me that is still really big hail. Egg size, 2-inch size hail, that will dent up your car for sure and maybe damage your roof when it gets in that 2-inch size, usually does. So that's going to move over all these new neighborhoods that are near that Parker-Tarrant County line that have gone up over the last, like I said, 10 years, but in the last 5 years they've been doing a lot of building still. This is the warning for Tarrant County till 9:30. Yes, it's still forecasted to get into Tarrant County. Let's hope it's just like the Dallas storm. It got into Dallas and it weakened. Maybe this one will weaken when it gets into Tarrant. We knew going in today that daytime heating would be the big driver. That's why these storms waited so long. They were waiting till the heat really peaked, close a day, and now they're feeding off that heat. And I'm going to change over to reflectivity. Look at all the hail cores down to the south in Corsicana and Clifton. A lot of lightning, but no warnings on those storms. That's just some good old summer thunderstorms moving over there, over towards into Waco and over to Navarro County. I'm good. Thanks, Nate. We've got still some big rain in southern Dallas County, but nothing severe there. There's the warning. God, look how bright those colors are. I'll take off the lightning and zoom in on Weatherford. Oh, poor Weatherford. Look at that. When you see reflectivity that's black where this warning is, that is a sign of really large hail. Let me see what the latest reports are coming in, because they continue to come in. 1.5 inches, 1 inch, 1-inch hail. This is all in the Weatherford area. 1 3/4. In Weatherford, 1 3/4. That's 2 reports. So that's still very large hail, but not the teacup 3-inch size hail that literally was just west of town. Let's put up Ville density again. I'll zoom out because it's a big hail core that's coming up 20, headed towards Tarrant County. This is tennis ball size hail being sampled. Just got looking at a picture, and it's quite the dramatic picture of the storm, the mothership that's over Weatherford right now. If you live in Westland, Benbrook, Lake Worth, the storm's headed for you. It's going to be there in about 20 minutes. Look west, and you're going to see it. It's an impressive sight. This storm is way up into the atmosphere at this point. It needs to be to produce hail that size. So a lot of lightning with it, a lot of positive strikes with it. Still 155. Let's see if lightning has come down. That's usually a good indication. If it does, look at all the lightning when it was over Millsap, and that's when we got that 2-inch size hail. And we started talking about this storm. And then I would say it has hovered in the 200s here for about the last 15 minutes. So not necessarily coming down. We're starting to see another cell come up here. You see this up to the north. So the storm continues to kind of turn and spread to the north. I'll circle that area because that is now showed up headed towards Springtown. I don't think that's severe, Springtown, that's coming up from your west-southwest. But that is certainly a lot of lightning and some heavy rain. I'm much more concerned about the hail core that went right over Weatherford. Where is it now? It's over by Dicey Road, Jamestown Street, Front Street, East First Street, or it has been. I was just going to say that, this is a 2-minute delay. We just got the latest scan. The biggest hail is along the old Fort Worth highway that comes in directly from the east out of Pumpkin Center. It stretches from there down to Clear Lake Road at I-20 and Bankhead Highway there at 20. It's getting closer and closer to the Tarrant County line, but it's going to go right over Hudson Oaks. It's going to go right over Wampler. It's going to go right over Willow Park and right over Dicey. So it looks like our radar site is going to get hit with this as well. That's some extremely large hail. So this is confirmed because it was measured. This is hail the size of a softball. When was that? That was in 3 miles northeast of Weatherford. That was on the other side of town. So the hail core that crossed Weatherford, when it was just on the west side, it had teacup size. When it was just to the northeast of Weatherford, it got softball size. That's 4.5-inch size hail. That is highly destructive, and that's hail that was measured and has a picture. So it's confirmed. There are many reports of 1.5 inches and hen size, 2-inch size hail, but we're getting these rogue reports of teacup and now softball size hail that are in there. That's not going to be everywhere, by the way. They're going to be rare. There'll be 1,000 stones that fall that are between 1.5 inches and 2 inches, and inside of there'll be a couple that might be 3, maybe 4 inches now, because we're getting reported of 4.5. That is monster hail. The more accurate way to put it, you know what that is? That's destructive hail. If you get hail that size come over your house, it does thousands and thousands of dollars worth of damage. That won't be the case all over Weatherford. Most of it is going to be in the tennis ball, ping pong ball size. A tennis ball would wreck your house, but egg size, 2 inches and smaller. Most of you, fortunately, will get that size, but there are reports of some people getting really large hail. And right now, it's probably on the east side of Weatherford. Remember, I was telling you this is an algorithm. It's processed. It's a little old. We can look at reflectivity, and you can see it right here on the east side of town now. So that's over by Bankhead Road, Fort Worth Highway, up to Wampler, Hudson Oaks, Azale Highway that goes into Dicey. This is Ranch House Road, Willow Park area at 20. That is right in the path. Annetta North, it's going to pass right over you or just to the north of you. South, you might catch a break here. Probably will. So will Aledo. But if you live along I-20, this is going to come right over you, especially the north side of I-20. Willow Park, I know some people ranch in that area because our radar site is up there, and you're gonna get hit. Your ranch house is gonna get hit. Here's the latest report. Santa Fe at I-20, 2-inch size hail. That was at 35. So that report just came over, and it was somebody that it just happened to. They got 2-inch size hail over again at Santa Fe. So that's over here back by Center Point there. Hudson Oaks, Wampler, it's right over you right now. Willow Park. Let me just mention some towns on the Tarrant County side, because this hail core has produced 4-inch size hail. So Lakeside, Lake Worth, River Oaks, Westland. That's in Tarrant County. This storm that just hit Weatherford, causing who knows how much damage, now in East Weatherford, headed into Willow Park and Annetta. It's headed towards the county line. It's headed towards Tarrant County. It's basically along I-20, but I-20 dives down towards the southeast. This thing is coming due east. So it's going to move right towards Westland and cross the 820 loop, probably right at 20 and right at 30 and to the north. That's the Lake Worth area. There's a chance it could hit the lake, or at least go over River Oaks and downtown Fort Worth. Let's hope it weakens. It hasn't so far. This has been a very persistent sail. There it is. In fact, it got bigger. It got stronger as it went over Weatherford. Another way, I don't often show this. You see the white there? This is a different algorithm because it takes in a lot of other threats. But in those pinks and blacks, that's hail. The greens are how intense the rain is. And sometimes you'll see yellows and reds, and that's really strong winds. But look at the white, because when you see white, that's 2-inch size hail or bigger, at least with how the algorithm works. It's usually pretty good. And certainly when we look at reports coming off from people who've been under this storm, it has been exactly right. You're getting close to 3-inch size hail really when you get to white, and that's where it is over Center Point. I don't show that much. Another way to look at it is that the radar kind of keeps count on the really big stuff. That's called the hail path. This is the last 30 minutes, and it climbed just over from Palo Pinto over by Bennett and Millsap and went right into Weatherford. And now it's basically almost right into Willow Park. We can look at reflectivity, because when you see these really bright colors, these blacks, that's a reflectivity of 66, 67, 55, your threshold of intense hail, and it's even higher than that. So either there's a lot of water mixed with it. That wouldn't surprise me. There's been a lot of rain, those bright colors. That's some significant rain that has come with this hail just in the last 3 hours, inch and a quarter rain. So a lot of rain. But reflectivity, again, tells me the really big rain. Here's another report now in Hudson Oaks of 3-inch size hail. I told you it was coming in. I told you to seek shelter, protect your car. Big hail was headed your way. 3-inch size hail is falling right now in Hudson Oaks. And it's going to fall like that for about 5 minutes. So you're getting clobbered. Lakeshore Drive, Addison Drive, Russell Road, Mickus Road. This is probably almost into Willow Park at this point. There's another report that's tennis ball size hail being reported in the exact same area here, just outside of Weatherford. So we're getting reports of 2.5 and 3-inch size hail. Oh my. This is right at 20 in Hudson Oaks. If you're heading west, that new development that's gone in. There's a couple of restaurants in there and some other stores. That's right where that huge hail is falling. There's a huge parking lot there. So any parked cars there had Sunday enjoying dinner. They're getting clobbered. Willow Park, try to protect your property. It's coming. Farmer Road, that's a north-south road that runs parallel to the Tarrant County line in Parker County. You got a few minutes. Protect your property. 3-inch size hail. There were reports of even 4.5 size hail. That's pretty rare. But monster size hail coming your way, okay? So if you live anywhere near 20 along Farmer Road, and I dare say either side, you have this destructive hail core coming towards you. I'm trying to give you a heads up. So if you live anywhere around the county line, and now we're talking about White Settlement over in Tarrant County, the really bad hail, where we're getting reports of 3-inch size hail at I-20, it's about 12 miles, 13 miles away from the west. Now, it's moving about 20 miles an hour, so that's literally 45 minutes. You've got time to try to square away as much of your stuff as you can out of this hail. Start with your cars and your windshields. You can't do anything about your roof. The hail core is at Hudson Oaks. That's where we just got the report of 3-inch size hail. The warning for this storm, there's now just one warning. I'm going to zoom out. I'm sorry, I've been fixating on this destructive hailstorm. But there's other thunderstorms going on. They're not severe. They're producing a lot of lightning, some very brief heavy rain. Most of this stuff that is south is moving southeast. This stuff that is north, where the warnings are, is moving east. So it is kind of split away from the main flow as we go into this kind of sitting. It's basically a stationary front that's been helping triggering the storms. So I'm just getting the latest reports, and there have been so many reports of $half size and 2-inch size hail in that range. So between an 1.25 inches to 2-inch size hail, literally 50 reports in the last 30 minutes. This, by the way, I showed up hail reports. This is from the hailstorm that already hit Tarrant County. That was this cell right here. That you see down by Palmer right now that is non-severe. But that one produced very large hail as well, 2-inch size hail. All these reports that you see here are coming out of this storm right here, this supercell that's been producing tremendous hail. And of the two, this one has produced the largest hail because we got ground truth of hailstone that was 4.5 inches in size. If you've ever seen one of those fall, let me tell you, it's like you're in a battle zone. I've been in 3- and 4-inch size hail in a vehicle, and fortunately we got under an awning, and it literally feels like the artillery has opened up on you. I mean, that stone hits so hard, and it's at terminal velocity. It weighs over a pound. You literally could use it as a weapon. It is falling from the sky at random directions at worst, but all that's going on right now. Not 4.5-inch size hail because there's only been one report of that, and that's so extreme. But 3-inch size hail, 2-inch size hail is right over Hudson Oaks. There's the latest scanned. Again, they're spaced about in sales mode. I think it's a minute 40 seconds. And the lowest level, but you can see Willow Park. It looks like the storm behavior is changing a little bit. It's starting to move, as it's approaching this stationary front, it's starting to move southeast like this other storm did. Okay, so that changes some of the calculation. That means that this front is still sitting somewhere around here, and we're getting the flow towards it. Okay, all right, I see that. Now, it's not going to leave I-20. Just as 20 was diving southeast, so is the large hail. So if you live on either side of I-20, let me just give you some streets, okay? This is I-20 in Parker County, and really close to the Tarrant County line. This is in the Willow Creek Annetta North area. And there's probably 2-inch hail at least falling from the sky overhead right now. We're getting in Hudson Oaks reports of hen's egg size, 2-inch size hail. It's by Farm Market 5 West, by Mickus Road, Ranch House Road, Sam Bass Road, Cement Trail, East Bankhead Highway, Sam Bass Road. I'll say that twice. I have friends on that road. By Farm Market 1187 and Farmers Road. It's going to basically follow the interstate down. And you know where it splits, the 2030 split, it looks like it's going to hit that. It's going to move right over that. So if you live anywhere in that general vicinity, but it's really that road from Aledo coming to 20 and on the other side where the storm is right now, where you've got a lot of construction has been lately and a lot of homes have been built in this area and they're just getting clobbered. That's at least 2-inch size hail, and I wouldn't be surprised if we get more reports of hail that's even larger, judging from the reflectivity. Let's look at Ville density. I'm going to zoom out a little bit more. I'll take off all these reports of hail here. All this fell in the last 2 hours. So it has just suddenly got into an evening, a Sunday evening destruction. Welcome to the first day of summer, right? I'll turn off the lightning as well. We'll turn off the reports. We'll visit those later again, but that's the high reflectivity that I talk about. It's our best indication in the moment because these scans are only usually a minute or 2 minutes delayed, because they look at 3 layers. They kind of take the picture and they send it out. It's really important to understand what's going on in several layers of the atmosphere to get a feel for the danger in the atmosphere. Another report here in Hudson Oaks, another one in Hudson Oaks of 2-inch size hail, just now. So I'm going to see if the National Weather Service has talked about this cell, because sometimes they have a little enlightenment. Because I have to cover it as the threat at the ground level, but they are looking at the storm on all levels. Sometimes they have some enlightening view of what they think is going to happen in the next 20 minutes. I'm going to give you the last 30. Do you see how it's hooked? Do you see how it moved and now suddenly it's doing that? That tells me that boundary layer is still just off to the east of the storm, and now it's kind of getting drawn into that boundary. The same thing happened to this storm that was in Dallas, and it weakened, and now it's really diving to the southeast. Let's hope this continues. This will weaken. Right now, there's not much indication of that happening. Has the lightning count come down? That's another thing we can look at. The lightning count, I'll have to zoom in to make sure we're only looking at that storm. The lightning count has come down a little. That's, let's say, encouraging. What I'm not encouraged by is the fact that we're still getting reports of large hail. And there we go. Thank you, Jason. The Storm Center here, the forecast office, is saying that it does look like the cell is weakening. And it's because it's turning into the lower level winds, I suspect. Let me give that a thought. As it's approaching the front itself, the stationary front, the cell was going to the right, so we got the rotation feeding in on that southeast wind, and now it's turned into that wind, and it's going to lose its punch. Yeah, because it turned to the southeast. So that's good news for everybody across the Tarrant County line. Wasn't such good news in Weatherford when it was still kind of tracking towards the due east. But now that it's turned southeast, the largest hail is now falling out of it over Willow Park, because I bet you the tops are coming down. Annetta North and Aledo, you're still going to get the large hail, because it takes, sometimes it's coming from so far up, it still falls, the really large stuff. But then it quickly becomes just a smaller hail. So that's really good news. In Willow Park, sporadic $50 size hail in Willow Park. Sporadic. That's because it looks like the hail core dodged as it moved southeast. You didn't get underneath the main hail core. It's on the other side of I-20. That's probably where you got steady hail that was that size. So this was a left-moving supercell that, remember I was telling you how it was turning to the north, it was left spinning. Most of the time they spin to the right. Every now and then they spin to the left. And it has everything to do with the way the winds are higher up. And so this storm was a left turner, and now it is starting to weaken. So the core loft has come down, which is more southeaster. Yeah. Well, they're explaining what I just explained to you. I'm sorry, I'm reading what the National Weather Service is doing, but that the storm is obvious. It's moved to the southeast and it's starting to weaken. We're going to give it about 5 more minutes and see if the hail core collapses. If it collapses, we will go off air in time for me to put the 10 o'clock show together. But it looks like as soon as it turned to the southeast, it started to weaken. Still big hail coming out of this. I don't want, if you live over by Annetta or Aledo, I'm not telling you you're not getting large hail, because you are, because this is the last of the storm. And so all the hail is coming out of it. So this is where you kind of can get that hail that actually covers the yard, because you get all the small stuff and what's left of the big stuff over by Annetta North and Annetta South. And I know just 15 minutes ago I was telling you, 20 minutes ago I was telling you Annetta South, you'd probably miss it. But then this thing turned to the right. But the good news, you won't miss it. The good news is that the storm is weaker and it's going to go into Aledo and Iona 2, just at the county line, the Tarrant County line. So it's moving still down, right down I-20. So any traffic down I-20 is still getting this royally, because you hit a hailstone at 1-inch size at highway speed, it will break your windshield. There's stuff twice the size of a quarter. Dan sent that in from West Arlington. He was with KRLD, and we know each other. 1.5-inch size hail is being still reported with, again, I think it's because it's all falling out right now. So I'm not surprised that we're still getting reports of 1.5-inch size hail, because everything was suspended aloft and the core all of a sudden collapsed. So all the hail that was up there, sometimes, as the storm is still going on, it's still strong, it hangs up there for a while and gets bigger. But when it collapses, all of it comes down at once. And like I said, if you've ever been in that, it's not usually the biggest hail. There's 1 or 2 stones that are really big and will do damage. But usually what it is enough to carpet your house, or carpet your yard or your street. You literally get, this, it looks like it snowed. And all it is hail. And we'll see if we get reports like that in Annetta, because the core collapsed right over the top of you. This was a warning. They now have a warning inside a warning till 9:30 for this hail core. The smaller one is the newer one. And that's because the storm kind of changed directions. Going into Westland and Benbrook, I think Benbrook, by the time it gets to you, there probably won't be large hail left, just some of the smaller stuff as it continues to tumble out of this storm. What about some other things? We know there's some heavy rain with it. Rain rates have been very impressive. Now I'm gonna sample this. I'm gonna tell you it's gonna be a huge number. It's the way the algorithm works. It gets fooled when there's a lot of hail in with the rain. So it says, oh, if it rained for an hour, it'd be 5 inches of rain. Quite honestly, it wouldn't be too far from that. It would probably be closer to 3 inches though. So it's a big, heavy rain, but it doesn't rain for an hour, right? It rains for like 10 to 15 minutes, and really hard, it rains for about 10 minutes like that. So, nowhere near the length of time to get you 5 inches of rain, if indeed it was poured. But like I said, it throws out these really big numbers when there is a lot of ice. But I can show you the 3-inch rainfall, and that tends to get adjusted by ground information, so it's a little bit more accurate. And you can see that there are reports of, something more modest over the last 3 hours, which is really over the last, in this case in Parker County, just over the last, hour or less of a 1 inch rain or just under. So that seems to me a little bit more reasonable, given the storms weren't moving that fast, but we're moving at 20. There's a lot of lightning with this. So I covered the rain. There's probably a lot of ponding on the roads and a lot of lightning, very unpleasant. There is still hail falling from this storm. We're getting reports now down to 1 inch and 1 inch and a quarter just in the last 5 minutes. And I'm going to put in veal density and sample that. This is the stuff that's over Annetta. And, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. That's the warning. This is the sampling. And you can see walnut size hail, $half size hail. So that has come down a little bit. And that's good news as this thing has turned to the southeast and is headed more towards Benbrook and Westland than say River Oaks. River Oaks, you're not going to get hit by this. And I was telling you, shouting you out earlier, say, look what's headed your way. No, this thing turned southeast and started to weaken. So a smaller storm is going to move across Tarrant County and get over Benbrook Lake, still with some hail and a lot of lightning, but at least not the destructive hail that went over Weatherford and points to the west and over Willow Park. They were getting reports. There was a report of softball size hail, 4.5 inches in size. But there were a couple of reports of 3-inch size hail and many, many reports of 2-inch size hail. That's what went over Weatherford. And that's where all the insurance claims, I shouldn't laugh, all the insurance claims will come from. Aledo, Benbrook soon, you're going to get the hail, the last of the hail that's quarter size or larger, and the storm continues to weaken. We can look at it in reflectivity, velocity. What you're seeing here is when the storm collapses, the wind usually kind of heads a little bit towards the direction the cell was moving. So you see these bright greens headed towards the radar. That's the cell collapsing and producing these really strong winds. I know they're sampling at 30, 40, but they're probably stronger than that. I can show you this. I'm going to take off the lightning. And do you see it brighten up? You see the green brighten up and fan out? That's another sign that the core is starting to has collapsed. The hail size has started to come down. When you see it really gushing out of it, these really strong winds. And that's what we're seeing in these bright greens, the winds pouring out of the storm as the cell collapses. Now you can get a downburst in this scenario, and a downburst can produce 60, even 70 mile per hour winds in this particular scenario when a hail core collapses. The radar would have a lot of trouble sampling that. That's just in a moment that is. And remember, these are like every minute and a half. We're trying to get a picture of what's going on. So it tends to not quite catch a downburst because of the time scale is too broad, and a downburst happens in moments. But over Aledo right now, very strong winds. Another way to look at that is this is going to be another thing I don't show very often, is I can look at differential reflectivity. And you see these bright colors. Now, there's a lot of information on here, and a lot of it's wrong. You just have to look exactly where you want to sample. In this case, where is the hail core? Well, it's right here. And you see all these bright colors? That's wind literally headed in every direction you can imagine. I mean, it's just wind just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, because it's gushing out of the storm. So if you're under this in Aledo, you know exactly what I mean right now. The winds are just swirling around you. Let's go back to this, something that you're more used to seeing. That's reflectivity. And there's still some purple in there. There's still a lot of ice in there. And there's still some lightning in there. In fact, if unless I'm being fooled, it looks like the lightning count came up right around that hail core, even though the peripheral lightning has started to die back. Yeah, you see right there, there's still a lot of lightning. What's the count? That's 168 ground strikes in 15 minutes in and around Aledo. That obviously will damage your roof as well if your house gets hit by lightning. This is headed right towards the county line in Iona, Benbrook, Lake Shores Estates, and Wheatland. This is probably going to come right over you too. You can expect some strong winds, a lot of lightning, and some small hail. This is the last of the warning. The warning goes until 9:30, and it's 9 o'clock, but I don't know if the warning will last. The National Weather Service is saying, yeah, there's still some small hail with it, certainly. They're saying that they're still watching it, but the downward trend continues. Okay. This is what we're going to do. We've been on the stream here for a while. I covered this hail core when it was really bad over Tarrant and Dallas. In fact, we were on CBS 11 because of all the people in the path of a destructive hailstorm. This was another destructive hailstorm that went across Parker County and went right over Weatherford and ran along I-20. Once it got past Weatherford, right across Willow Park, and there probably was a lot of damage the whole way because we were still getting reports of 3 or 4 inch size hail. That storm has weakened just as it got into Tarrant County line. I was hoping to do that, because not that I hope for bad at Parker County, but as we head to the east, we get into much higher populated areas. And fortunately, this hailstorm started to weaken just as it crossed the Tarrant County line, which it's doing right now. So that's great news. This warning is going to go on for 30 minutes, but I bet you they drop it early. The hail size is, I'm just see the latest reports of what's coming out of it, 1 inch size hail now. So not as severe, in fact, just on the threshold of severe and weakening. I have to get ready for the 10 o'clock show, okay? And so we're going to leave the stream. And what I want you to do, if you don't mind, I've been sitting here trying to help you out through the evening. Join me at 10 o'clock. I will try to summarize what's been happening over the last couple of hours here, see if there's any more threat for the rest of the night. I think the threat level is really coming down. We're losing the heating of the day, by the way, so I don't want to hype anything up. But please join me at 10 for the latest on the storms and what's going to happen the next couple of hours. In the big picture, don't worry about tomorrow. Monday looks fine. It's going to be hot. It's going to be 90 degrees. Tuesday, however, we had been saying for the last week or so that the first 2 weeks of June were going to be rough. The storm spring season was going to continue into early June, just like today, first day of June. We still think that's the case, that Tuesday, Wednesday, a lot of unsettled weather. So join me at 10 o'clock. And let's talk about that. So I need to get you prepared for that. We're the First Alert Weather Team. I want to alert you to Tuesday and Wednesday. And I need to alert you that we've probably got more storms behind that coming in the weekend. Sorry, but this is unsettled weather, and this is the season for it. So thank you for joining me on the stream. As I tell you, if you hear lightning in your neighborhood, join the stream here at the CBS News app. Open it up. We're also on Roku. We're also can be seen on Pluto TV. The stream is where to go, because look what I've done. I've been on air for a couple of hours. I've been able to go to the street level and talk at length about this threat. I can't usually do that on linear, CBS 11, but I can do that on the stream. So this is the place to go. Get into the habit. Tell your friends that when you got severe weather coming in, join us on the stream. We can keep you safe. Thank you for this. Thank you for allowing me to protect you. Join me at 10 o'clock if you can, and have a good evening. And I hope your house wasn't hit too hard by this hail.
I can, and I just have one question. A drowning can only be a death, correct? Yeah, I don't think he can survive a drowning. So just making sure there. Tonight at 10, a new eyewitness account after a drowning of a little girl in Frisco. See that adjective is added because that's what they're accustomed to writing. Let me see this, Nate. Oh, that's at 5 o'clock. That's at 5 seconds. Okay, I got it. Oh, yes, sir. Coming up at 10, an eyewitness account after a drowning of a child in Frisco. Yes, sir. This sounds like it's longer than 12, but let's see. Some major last-minute moves for the Texas legislature and the FBI investigating what it calls a terror attack in Colorado. The suspect accused of setting people on fire.